I'm here.
There's another Sudha that joined.
Yelam, why are you showing up as me? No, it's
I'm
just me.
sorry.
Oh, no, it is. Then at least you should come on camera so it doesn't look like I'm talking to myself. Okay, let's see. I've started the stream, guys. It's not yet live.
It says it's being live streamed.
Is it being live streamed?
Yep, it's live streamed.
Beautiful. Yes, I see it.
Let me go on
Awesome.
mute then.
Awesome, awesome. Okay. I need to go look at the LinkedIn stream. Look at Then at least you should come on camera so it doesn't look like I'm talking to myself. Okay, I muted there. Okay, good. Excellent. So let me reload it. Then I'm good. A lot of people joining this time, so I'm very excited. Okay. I'm trying to look at the LinkedIn live stream, guys, to make sure that I'm talking to the right people. Okay. It showed, as we are talking, I think it was showing you on the screen, Deepika. Okay, now we're ready. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Sudha Jamthe, and this is Sudha Live. So we are streaming on LinkedIn here, and I have very few people here in the Zoom classroom. So if you're going to join me in the Zoom classroom, be off camera. If you speak up or you come on camera, it's going to get recorded. So you're giving me permission by speaking up. And you always have the option of chatting here with me. And you can, be off camera too, and we can have a fun discussion. And those of you who are joining me here on LinkedIn, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see the numbers go up. It always shows the number of people just has a increasing number. I love that. So this is Sudha Live, and this is a live stream I do with my students and answer your questions. And I also have a theme, and this month's theme is Edge AI. And today, you're going to learn about Edge AI. I will answer your questions if you've taken any of my courses, but I will focus on Edge AI. And I have shared that I have just wrapped up recording an Edge AI course. So I'm very excited. That is coming. I cannot tell you more about it, but the topic is, hot because there's a lot of things happening in physical AI. So we're going to talk about Edge AI. We're going to talk about responsible automation. And so let me take a step back because I see a lot of new people coming in. Thank you. I love it when I get all these emojis here. I've never got one of those cracking laughing emojis. I have to really be funny for that, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So for those of you who are joining on LinkedIn Live, you can use the comment feature and you can introduce yourself if you want. And as I'm asking questions, I want to keep it engaging. So, I'm going to be watching your comments in here. And I'm joined here with LM from my team and Deepika Sarkar, who is my AI ethics program manager. She makes sure that everything that we focus on is responsible. That is why I'm not just talking about Edge AI and autonomous vehicles, which I'm going to, but Deepika will make sure that we think about the data privacy and the right way of doing this. Okay, so I'm your instructor, and looking back, all my courses this year has been on LinkedIn Learning only. I have about 8 courses in there, and all AI courses in different dimension, and one hot agent AI course that I believe many of you are coming from. So after this recording is done, the easiest way to find this Sudha Live or any of my past Sudha Live, the live streams that I do on LinkedIn, is if you scroll down to the bottom of my courses, you will always find the latest Sudha Live. And this is called LinkedIn Office Hours. And you'll see that from many of my other fellow LinkedIn instructors too. So it'll be fun. Okay. So what is Edge AI? What is Edge? Let's get started with that. Can somebody tell me what is Edge? When I say Edge AI, what is Edge? Yes, edge is a device, edge of a device. It could be edge of any hardware. So it could be edge of a network. Yes, thank you for joining me, Elam. I'm very glad you're there. We are going to be sharing many of the links that I'm mentioning here. So if you can help me with that, I'll appreciate that. Thank you. So edge is edge of a device. It could be any kind of internet of things. It could be your speakers. It could be your computer. It could be a mobile. It could be a robot. It could be a surgical robot or the fun robot that is delivering food. It could be an autonomous vehicle, or it could be some boring equipments like factory equipments, medical equipments, and all kinds of things, right? Anything that's a physical hardware has an edge. Edge literally means that it's running on the intelligence of the device instead of the cloud. So it's always, whenever we talk about edge, there is like a edge versus cloud discussion that comes. So now my next question to you is, what is your favorite edge device? Okay. What is your favorite edge device? And I'll tell you what is mine in a minute. So I see you all here listening in. Let's make this fun. So for those of you who joined in late, I'm Sudha. I'm Sudha Jamthe. This is Sudha Live, and I'm a technology futurist. That means I get excited about latest greatest in technology, and then having worked for many decades in technology industry on mobile analytics as my most recent corporate job, I temper my excitement and say, is this here to stay? Is this creating value? And then I've been building courses. I've taught at, I know many of you are going to join me from many of my other places like Stanford and Barcelona Technology School. But all my courses this year have been on LinkedIn Learning. So I am looking forward to talking to my learners from LinkedIn Learning to answer any of your questions. But today's topic is Edge AI. And tell me about Edge. What is your favorite Edge device? So I'll tell you, my favorite Edge device is an autonomous vehicle. And as that is one of the topics I'm going to cover today, you will see that it is changing what is autonomous vehicles. So earlier when we were doing a class, I've taught this class about business of self-driving cars. I've done an autonomous vehicle workshop for many years in Stanford and have a book in that topic too. We just called it broadly as autonomous vehicles. And I had to say, wait a minute, when we say autonomous vehicles, we are not just talking about self-driving cars, and there's also autonomous vehicles in industry and everything, right? That's what I had to say. So now things have changed. It's not just the nomenclature, even the technology around it has changed, but some business models have been proven. So I'm going to get to that. So my favorite edge device is autonomous vehicles. What is yours? So those of you here, you can also add a comment here, right here in Zoom. In the Zoom classroom, I have a small set of our regular weekly wed people and my team here. Phone, yes. LM says mine is the phone. For many years, I used to feel, my Fitbit as my favorite device. And of course, since I'm excited about Internet of Things, I've tried all kinds of things in the early days. I've had the sleep monitor and things like that. Okay, so it could be a robot. So thank you for that. It could be autonomous vehicles. It could be delivery bots. What's your favorite delivery bot? Mine is KiwiBot. And KiwiBot people have launched a new robot.com. You should check it out. I usually, okay, my computer, is your computer a desktop? Is that a laptop? Why is that an edge device? I'm just curious. But that's a good one. I don't usually hear from people talking about their computer as an edge device, and then your computer is also an edge device, right? Okay. And so when we say edge AI, what are we talking about? So obviously, edge AI is AI on the edge. It's very self-explanatory. But what's the big deal about edge AI? So what is edge AI? What do you think is edge AI? Because it could be, we could be building AI on the edge, especially if you call AI your computer as your edge device. It's so powerful. Even a mobile device you can build. I remember seeing an explanation from Google talking about building on the mobile on their phone as edge AI also. Robots, okay, thank you, Jasmeet. Wearables, IoT, robots, a whole gamut, all of them are edge devices. And I like your tagline saying fun uncle of physical AI. So I love it when my students show up. Thank you so much. Okay. Um, more of robots, IoT, and wearable devices too. Um, okay. What else? Do you want to tell me a little bit more of other devices? So, okay, what is edge AI in here? So, is it AI running on the edge? Is it running inference on the edge? Is it developing AI on the edge? Is it something else? You can say, okay, let's just to keep the commenting easy, I will just ask you, is edge AI just running AI on the edge? Yes or no? AGI is deployment of AI and machine learning directly on local devices, sensors, smartphones. Looks like somebody here is from my class rather than relying on a centralized cloud or data processing. Okay, so thank you for that definition, Dr. Anil. Is Edge AI also about developing AI on the edge? So if you look at my course called AI Trends, and last month I was talking about AI trends as the topic, and I have a lesson in there called physical AI. So I cover a wide gamut in there, but edge AI is AI running on the edge. And when AI is running, it's running inference on the edge. We are not talking about developing on the edge. You can develop on the edge, but when we say edge AI, we are saying, hey, AI is running on the edge. And like Dr. Anil said, it is about utilizing the power of the edge rather than wanting to use the cloud. And today, when we are talking about autonomous vehicles, 100% it is not running only on the edge, it is also talking to the cloud. So, edge AI actually has expanded to not just the AI running on the inference, it is everything that supports the running of the AI. So, it could be a container that can have AI running on the edge, but a container that packages what data needs to be run on the edge, processing the data, and then sending it to the cloud, and then bringing it back. All that comes and the intelligence to run that. So the actual data processing, the AI running on inference, and the what they call is edge OS, or the intelligence that facilitates making the decision of, am I just going to run an agent on the edge? Am I going to process this data here? Am I doing something with it? But the important is it's an edge device. That means it is getting data from sensors. Then it is doing something with the data. The data might just feed to an AI. The AI might look at it, might be a camera, right, on a robot. And it sees the camera, it gets the data, and it says, okay, I see a person, I need to stop. So what I'm going to do is, I promise for those of you who are joining late, today's topic is edge AI, but I also promise that I will cover autonomous vehicles and the latest greatest in autonomous vehicles as my favorite edge device. And I want to talk a little bit, thank you for that. I also want to talk a little bit about the responsible automation. So before we just go into the edge AI, I want to show you one of my past videos where I had shown my ride from Waymo. And this was very straightforward. I think I posted that last night, if I remember right. Let me find that for you. So I think I did share that. Let me find that. Okay. So this was like when I did the a Waymo ride, and I was very thrilled. I just came and posted a little bit of that. So I'm just finding that for you. And I'm going to show that. And just for the record, I have no affiliation with any brand, any company. And so I try to be very objective about things, but I do have an appreciation of technology that is good, and technology that is done ethically, and technologies that is deployed to truly create value for people. So that is the important piece. Okay, I found the Waymo drive here. So this is when I took a ride in a Waymo taxi. Let me find that. I need to share my screen in a minute. Okay. Okay, come back to that. So when I'm talking about Waymo, I just want to be clear, I don't have an affiliation with Waymo in any form, but I did enjoy the ride, I have to say that, right? And then I'm going to tell you something funky that happened with the Waymo recently that actually goes towards our discussion of the responsible AI, right? Responsible automation. Where is my share? Here we go. You're able to see my screen. Okay. Okay, this is when I took a Waymo ride in San Francisco. Just needed a reason to show you this. See how it sticks to the lane. Okay, so that's the good version of it, right? So basically, the car is driving itself, and the most basic element of AI in an autonomous vehicle is watching the road, what we used to call as car cognition. That has shifted these days, and now there's a lot more, and we're going to talk about that. That is why there's a lot of new deals related to autonomous vehicles and Nvidia and Neuro and all that. We're going to get to that. So before we wrap up today, if I forget that, please remind me. But I want to stick to our flow. So we were talking about what is edge. We spoke about what is edge AI. We haven't gone deeper into all the different embedded AI and all aspects of it. We're just saying it's running inference on the edge, and the supporting OS and the data layer that makes edge AI. And I was talking about my favorite edge AI device. And thank you for all of you who shared your favorite edge AI device. And I showed you a robotaxi. So we don't call it just self-driving cars. The terminology is robotaxi. And I showed you a robotaxi ride. And the cameras are watching. There's LiDAR and other sensors. So all that sensor data is processed on the edge to allow the vehicle to make path planning decisions of, am I going to stop? Am I going to keep moving? And then I showed you some music that is also the entertainment system that is inside. So if you're imagining a world with autonomous vehicles where we are sitting and doing whatever, um, and we are going to have internet connectivity, and these days with all connected cars we already have that, and there's entertainment, there is data, and some of you also had said one of your edge devices was XR. I didn't read it out because I wanted to mention it at the right time. So the experience you create, which could be taking input from the spatial data additionally, other than just road sensors, to create that environment, so that it is not just what you're seeing, it is a combination of what you're seeing and what is given to you, almost like a Pokemon view, but inside your vehicle, right? Or where glasses is what you have these days with XR and stuff. So those all come under the uh, edge AI. And autonomous vehicle, other than I'm crazy about it, is that it has every possible AI we can discuss is in there. So that is why in my classes, I like to bring that as an example. And LM, if you don't mind, can you find the innovating with AI design course and add it to the link right here? Because I would like to share that with our learners right here. Okay, because I went to share this other window, guys, I have lost the stream window. So I'm going to come find you. I'm right here. Okay, so I showed you the Waymo driving autonomously, and the basic thing that we saw in there is it is sticking within the lane. So staying within the lane detection is the 101 of building car cognition, or what the autonomous vehicles do. And a lot of autonomous vehicle features, which was a big deal in the past, have now been incorporated into regular cars as ADAS features. So sticking within the lane is available in many of the cars these days. It will wave, or it will pull you in. The Tesla will pull you in. Some cars will scream. Some cars will give you a little bump. That is the experience you're designing. So the AI decides, hey, you're moving out of the lane. That's not good. How you communicate that to the user, whether you take control and steer the car and connect to the drive-by-wire cables to pull the car back, or you're actually signaling, blinking, and that all those things are different levels of how you design this automation in a responsible way. So that is why when we talk about edge AI, responsible automation comes in, and the human-centered design of how you do that is, it seems like, a different world. UX designers are working on it. That's not true. If you're thinking about AI, it's not just taking in data, creating some model in its brain and spitting out some data. It is the experience you create the user. So usually when we hear about an AI, we always tell a story, right? Oh, this is listening to voice, it's recognizing this face, it is doing all these things. But in reality, all that is possible only when you create a responsible automation. Okay. So what I was showing you is sticking with the lane, and it just continued going. So let me show you another one where it happened recently. Um, where is this? It happened very recently, and I saw this on YouTube. So I'm going to try and bring that window. Uh, Thank you, LM. Thank you so much. So LM has actually added. Am I able to do a like to my own thing? Oh, I did. So thank you, LM. LM has added this link for this course called Innovating with AI Design Using Autonomous Vehicles. Uh, and that is my recent course, which is maybe out for 3 months. And it is teaching about how you design AI interfaces for machine learning, for voice, for computer vision. Those are my three favorites that I rotate in all my classes in various dimensions. And we talk about the UX design using an AIX framework, how you design. And I also like you to build stuff in my courses. All my courses are hands-on, so you get to go build something for real instead of just talking about the design element of it. So check that out. But every example in there, I have used autonomous vehicles. And these days, autonomous vehicles is either a robotaxi or a delivery bot, or it is autonomous mobility robot or AMRs. Autonomous mobility robot. It's called autonomous mobility robot or autonomous mobility vehicle, AMVs or AMVs. Okay, so that, and is there anyone here who is working with autonomous mobility robots? If you are, can you tell me where is it used? Where are AMRs or AMVs used these days? So the difference between a self-driving car or robot taxi and the autonomous mobility vehicle is that the robot taxi carries people, and the AMR or AMV carries goods. It could be a robot that is driving around, but I'm not talking about customer service robots. Even customer service robots are there bringing stuff. I've seen it in airport lounges where it comes, does cleanups, and brings stuff, and it's carrying things. So the common theme is it's carrying things. And anybody is going to still take a stab at where you see them, AMVs or AMRs? Yes, you see them in warehouses. And you also see them in factories. It's very common that you see them in warehouses and factories. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, so one of the things about Edge AI is there is a subset of Edge AI called embedded AI. Anybody knows what is embedded AI? Yes, I beat you to that, Jess Smith. I just wrote warehouses. Yes, logistics. You added logistics. Thank you for that. So the big thing about AMRs, so I was just writing embedded AI. I typed embedded AI. Okay. So logistics is a very important feature, important use case. Warehouses, lot of delivery. I saw video of an AMR being so huge and able to lift a whole car, and they were showing it in a parking lot, like a parking garage where they consolidate and move the cars up and down. It was done by a AMR. But you have seen a lot of that in Amazon examples. They use that in warehouses, logistics to bring things from different sections. So the important element of AMRs is not just the building the autonomous vehicle has become status quo because that's been going on for a long time. But being able to integrate into your logistics systems, to go into your inventory system, and if you're doing some delivery, then you have to pick up things, and whose things are you picking, what is the item, where is that in the shelf, and all that needs to happen. So today the way it is happening is a lot of human computer interface, human robot or human AMR interface, right? It is not usually done. Even in Amazon, when they say, oh, we've got a million of these deployed, we have trained 880 people on this in their warehouses. It's a collaboration, right? Instead of people running and searching and bringing things which cost time, the AMR goes, gets stocked up with things, comes back and delivers it. So there's a human on either end of it. So watching the human in an autonomous vehicle used to be like, okay, don't run over them and stop in the middle of the road if a pedestrian is crossing. But in the factory AMR setting, it is also integrating into their workflow and a little bit more nuanced. And so yeah, we will get to that. So I want to wrap up this embedded AI. So what is embedded AI? Embedded AI is a subset of edge AI, but instead of running on the edge of a device, as in, hey, here's a device and it's just going to run, embedded AI is going to be using low power and run on the chip of the device, or it's embedded inside the device. So it's a subset of edge AI. Then there is another one category called embodied AI. Who knows what is embodied AI? So Yashashwini actually had done a weekly Wednesday, um, telling us about embodied AI. So I'm not going to give you the full deal, but embodied AI is a little bit more what we spoke about AMRs and how you have to connect into the workflow. Embodied AI is actually running agents on the edge. So before I forget, I'm working on a journal paper on how to run an agent on an autonomous mobility robot or AMV. And so if any of you are interested, as a follow-up to Sudha Live, I usually do weekly WED, which is a small classroom setting on Zoom, and we have another topic and discussion. So I can, if you're interested and if you come to that, then I can work with you if somebody's in that space. AJI, thank you, Dr. Daniel. AJI is where processing locally on the edge and embedded is a core part of how. Okay, that's a good way of thinking about it. So I think edge AI is more broader AI on the edge. And as I said in the beginning, it has three components. You actually have the actual AI. So is it machine learning or deep learning model that you've just put the inference in there? Or is it computer vision running in there? Is it voice running in there? So it's the AI inference model. And then and a little bit of intelligence or the edge OS that decides what you're going to do with this, and then sensor data comes in and you process that. And embedded is you're not running the AI just on the edge. It could be, like you said, it is a core part of the hardware itself, so it comes baked in a chip. It could be, and the important thing with embedded AI is that it is very low power, right? It does not consume too much power, and it doesn't have huge memory needs, so you can bake it into a chip. So the tinier devices that have the chip which has the AI baked in it. So the difference also is that you're not going to be burning the chip and bringing the AI back and forth. In a edge AI, you can have the AI do a over there update and get it updated easily. So that's also another difference. Okay, so somewhere earlier, LM, I had shared the list of my classes because people can look at the what is physical AI using in the Edge AI course. Let me find that. Maybe I should just share my screen. So last week we covered this. This Edge AI course is free. Here is the URL for my courses. Edge AI is the AI Trends course is free. And in here is the physical AI if you want to look at this. And this innovating with AI design using autonomous vehicle is the one I was telling you about. Learning different types of AI and creating a human-centric interface for that. And I've done it completely using autonomous vehicle examples. Rest of it is all my different courses. The agent AI is an important one. I'm seeing a lot of you take it, and I'm going to work on a research on how to add agent on the edge of a AMR or autonomous mobility robot or vehicle. Okay, so thank you for the reminder. I did tell you I will show you the other Waymo example. I'm being careful here. I didn't forget it, but I'm very sensitive. Whenever I go show a YouTube link, um, you never know what will show up. I'm very afraid of that. I don't want to be showing some random ads or stuff. And you know how we do when anything is a live stream, it's going to live on forever. So I don't want some random ad showing up here. Here's list of my courses if you want to go find it. So I wrapped up a AGI course. So the AGI course will drop sometime this month, I'm expecting. So if you just track the list of courses, you will find that. I will of course share here, but if you just go there, it'll automatically show up in my list of courses. So you know what I'm doing? I'm sharing these so that I can clean off these windows. And then I don't need to be having more of these showing up, distracting me. And I'm trying to get to the Waymo one. The other one I said, oh. So what happened is, so I was showing you a good version of the Waymo where I was able to drive. I take a ride and I showed you how it stays within the lane, and we discussed about Edge AI and what does that mean and how a lot of this AI is now becoming part of ADAS systems, right? But sometimes things go wrong. Okay, I'm not yet sharing the screen, so bear with me if you hear a sound. I'm going to pause that and then show it to you in a minute. So what happened here is, uh, and we've never had an accident. Waymos have been very safe, and I've seen Waymos in San Francisco, and they're now getting ready to come more south towards Mountain View and Bay Area, a lot in the airport, and in Phoenix and stuff like that. So what happens is it in San Francisco, it's driving through busy intersections. I've also seen it in LA. They do a very good job for, nighttime going to different concerts and places. That's the Hollywood area that they cover very nicely. So here is a Waymo, and something happened in how the car was thinking about looking at the road, and it stopped in front of a car, in front of a cable car. Let me share my screen. So the important thing is not just the what happened here that it is stuck, but um, how they try to problem solve it. Because remember, we talked a lot about edge AI, and part of it we spoke about embedded AI, embodied AI, and AI and the OS layers and what makes the edge AI layers, right? We talked a lot about that. Then I gave you an example of the Waymo um, driving, riding very nice and safely, right? And now here is an example of a Waymo that got stuck. So it's not about, as I said, I don't have any affiliation. I love good technology when it works and it solves a real problem for people. So I think this robotaxi model is doing a good thing. It is solving a problem for us, right? Avoiding traffic and parking and available at night and all that good stuff, right? And no accidents, right? And it's safe. But the I've had discussion in my classes on autonomous vehicles on the right way to implement it, and we've evolved through various different business models. So one of them has been, hey, we earlier they were testing and they would have a human to take over when the car fails, right? When the car cognition, when it fails, it hands over the control to the human. It hands over control to the humans. The human does not take control. The car decides when it is going to disengage. So I've published a paper around that about how the car sees the road and how inclusive it is and how it affects the safety and all that stuff. Not just Waymo, but general autonomous vehicles. But with the Waymo, there's no human in there, no human driving it. It's driving fully autonomously. So one of the models that was tested in the past, and I believe it was Ford, I could be wrong. One of the other companies did that. I'll double check that for you guys. Is they had the option to take over. A human could remotely take over control. In fact, in KiwiBot, which has now become robot.com, they have that. It's driving on the roads autonomously, on the sidewalk autonomously as a delivery bot, but then they are always watching it and they could take over control. That's one example of where the company can take over. And there was a car company like that. So in here, here's what happened. The Waymo has stopped in front of a cable car, what we call a train here. Paper, stop your traffic.
Calling rider
Oh, I
support.
think it's a bus.
Waiting
Connecting to rider support.
intersection
Please
where
wait.
we're the ones blocking it.
Hey, this is V with Waymo. How can I help?
Hi, we are currently blocking a train.
Oh, yeah, I can do see that. Let me
It's
just
a
go and
train.
get this escalated right away. Car may move soon while we get the car out of the situation.
Is someone driving it remotely, or how is it moving?
Our response team will provide suggestions to the car on what's the next steps to do, but the car is still driving by itself.
Oh my gosh, this is not his first rodeo.
There's another Waymo behind us. It's also reversing.
Okay, so the interesting thing here is the car stopped in front of the trolley or the train, and they call customer service. And I don't know if you noticed that one important thing is they asked, is somebody going to take over control and drive it remotely? They said no. We are giving some guidance to the car. So they are communicating to the AI in the car to understand what is happening in the road. So that's an important thing I want you to think about. The second funny part in here, why they're cracking up, is the driver just got up and waved. So now the car sees, hey, I see a person on the road. It did not understand when there was this car, there was this other traffic and everything. It got confused. It stopped. But as soon as it saw a person, it says, wait a minute, I cannot run over this person. It started reversing. The other Waymo behind it started reversing. There was enough gap and the traffic could clear off. So there were two things, right? That it is able to recognize a person, and that was very good. So there was that it could recognize that it could recognize a person is very good, because it's not going to run over a person, and that was what cleared it. But what was fascinating, especially today when we are talking about responsible automation, so every time when there is an AI, especially on an edge device, the device moves, the device picks things, the device does things, right? It's actuating with its sensors to do something, right? It might turn on something, it might turn on the sprinklers if it is too hot, if there's a fire, and it can do a lot of different things. Think of robotic surgical arms, and they are robots and they are moving, right? All of it has potential for good and bad harm, right? So it is important how you communicate with AI, how you design it to communicate with AI. In fact, yesterday I saw there was a post from Dr. Banafa. Let me tag you. He's a cool person you should follow. Dr. Banafa. I thought I can tag people here. I'm not able to tag people here on the chat, but he's a cool person to follow. He's an AI expert and brings the latest in news and stuff. So he shared something about how the AI models are evolving with agents and reinforced learning, that they are very goal oriented and they run towards a goal. So even when when the developers were trying to interrupt an AI agent that is running and said stop running, it did not listen to them because it was running towards that goal, towards reinforcement learning. And so the point that Professor Banafa was making was we need fail-safe systems. So I remember having discussion about this. I think it's called P007 for those of you who are about IEEE standards. I remember being part of a group discussing about how AI, when it is coming on physical devices, the number one thing is you need to make it fail safe. So in the case of Waymo, what happened is the Waymo did not run over people, so it stopped. So the driver was able to make it move. But when they were asking for customer support, when I'm riding and I'm saying, hey, the Waymo has stopped, customer service cannot take over the control, which is a good thing. I think if they're running it like a toy vehicle, it's not scalable, then it would not make business model sense, and then we cannot have these robot taxis. So they have thought it enough. But the important thing is they had a means, the Waymo team had a means of communicating with the Waymo, the AI of the Waymo, to continue to drive autonomously, but to have a conversation. So I want you to stop and think about this. I mean, people have shared this a lot and they're laughing and joking about this, or they may turn around and say, hey, the autonomous vehicle is not functioning, it's not working. That's not true. It has never had an accident. It has functioned very well. I have done a lot of rides on Waymo. I love it. But this is going to happen with all your edge AI devices. When the AI is running autonomously, when the AI is run by an agent and it is making decisions and it is running towards a goal, it will not stop, or it makes a mistake, because all AI is stochastic, it's making predictions, and there will be a percentage of error. And when that happens, how do you communicate with the AI? So I want you to think about this when you're, and if you take my AI design course that I shared here earlier, right? Innovate with AI design using autonomous vehicles, you'll get some idea on how to design this interfaces, how to think about that. You know, there's a framework in there. But I want you to think about this. If you were the person who had designed this edge AI, it could be an autonomous mobility vehicle. It is driving in, riding around, carrying heavy things in a warehouse. Some of you gave this warehouse examples, logistics example. If it is doing that, and a person opens up an elevator and shows up in the middle, or for some reason or there are two of them crossing each other, it has to stop. If it is not stopping, it is goal oriented, the AI continues to run, you need to build in fail-safe methods first. That's the easiest thing. But I'm thinking, when you're deploying agents, it's important for you to think about how do you build that communication with the AI. How do you build the communication with the AI? So any guesses, what do you think they did in terms of communicating with the Waymo? So I would think that they actually have ways to communicate with the AI, to interrupt it, and to show it, to make it reset to see what it is seeing on the road, because it was seeing a lot of things and it got stuck and it stopped. So they showed that. I do not believe there would be a communication like a human communication to say, hey, you have stopped, you need to move, it is safe, no problem. That's not how it's going to happen. It's going to be resetting the data the AI is seeing as input to its inference, so that now it can say, okay, I still make my own decisions, and now I've decided to move. So that's a very interesting thing. I want you to think about this. I want you to bring this home to your logistics setup, to your warehouses, to various different places where we are building edge AI, and you're creating any kind of AI, and you're saying, okay, even if you're building agents, not even in the edge AI world or autonomous vehicle world, I think it becomes important to think about that, because what is the fail-safe method by which you're going to interrupt an AI, not to take over, not to break the process flow, but to do that as part of the design of the AI, so that it continues to do what it is doing. And I want to pause and see whether you have any question for me. I'm back at I'm going to close this Waymo window. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to close this other windows. Yeah. Let me share this. Yeah, let me share that video, what I was showing you. Waymo video. Think about fail safe. Yeah. Okay. Are there any questions for me? Are there any questions about edge AI, about autonomous vehicles, this communication with AI, embedded AI, or anything else? Anything else that we have discussed so far? Or are you one of my students who has actually seen, you have any other question that's not related to this at all? Like, from any of the other courses or something else? If you have, I'm happy to help you also. Okay. So every 2 weeks after Sudha Live, in 2 weeks, typically, we have a follow-up. And let me find that. So the easiest thing there are two options on how you can join weekly WED. That would be our follow-up, where you would learn this topic as an in-depth topic and go into a discussion and see demos and stuff from an expert who's working in the field. So we are going to look at, because 2 weeks out is Thanksgiving for us. So December 3rd is going to be the weekly WED. on Edge AI. And this time we are going to look at Edge AI in factory floors using vision algorithm, using mobile vision, which means vision on a phone, right? Like vision app on a phone. And we are going to do that. Our expert Karsten. Now I'm able to tag. I'm able to tag Karsten. So is our speaker, is our AI expert. Okay, so December 3rd, I've just added that in the comment. For those of you, some of you might come and watch this later also. Be sure to, for those of you who are here, be sure to tag your friends in case they'll benefit and come watch it also is fine. So December 3rd is going to, instead of weeks, it's going to be 3 weeks post Thanksgiving, is going to be our Edge AI, weekly word about Edge AI, about factory floors. It's more about real-time asset tracking, or locating things in factory floors, but using mobile vision. For those of you who you've been regular in my community, the easiest thing is you can join Business School of AI right here on LinkedIn, and you will get updates. And LM from my team loves to make small little lessons and clips, and from here or from our weekly web, he'll post there. The other option is if you go to, let me see, where is it? I thought I was super organized with all these different windows. Now I look at it and I'm seeing like a gazillion windows that should not be open here in the first place. So, okay. So the other option is, I'm going to share my screen. So LM has got us a new shiny site. So if you go to businessschoolofai.com, everything that I'm talking here on how to follow up to get into weekly wed, and how to go look at past recordings and join our community, everything you'll find from here. And even going to Business School of AI on LinkedIn's link from here. So that's part of our community. You can go there. I wanted to show you how to go to, and all my list of courses is also here. So when the AGI course drops, it'll also show up. Right now, the other courses are here. So I was talking about weekly wed, that is our Zoom classroom that we will do on December 3rd. So if you're already part of it, it's great. Otherwise, if you sign up, we will send you a notification about the next event, and you'll get the Zoom link and stuff. And you can also see our past speakers, and you can go and click any of this and see past sessions also. We have a whole playlist with all that. So this is the place. So if you go to businessschoolofai.com and go to weekly wed at the top, I went from here, then you can sign up. That's the easiest way. And then you will be able to get the notification for the December 3rd event with Karsten and about AGI. So this month's theme is AGI. So I'm sticking with that. AGI course is going to drop. We're talking about AGI here. We're going to have this expert AI conversation as a follow-up on December 3rd about with Karsten Kanishtan, also on AGI. Okay, we spoke a lot about autonomous vehicles. I'm going to close these windows. I've become so smart and organized. I'm so happy about it. Okay, any burning question, because I've got 8 minutes. I want to show you something super exciting. And I know many of you came in because you saw the autonomous vehicles. Oh, I see a question from Mehmet. I'm sorry I missed this. How can AGI work when we need large data, which can't be on the edge? Wonderful. So depends on what you're doing and what is the use case. So I was talking about, when we talk about Edge AI, it is the actual AI. It is the intelligence OS layer which processes the data. And one of the decisions it makes is to decide which data it is. It's processing the data on the edge. That's the short answer. How can Edge AI work when we need large data, which can't be on the edge? The second thing is it's processing on the edge, or it could have, the OS layer could say, hey, this data is sitting somewhere else. I'm going to go bring that from the cloud. So edge means it is running, the AI is running on the edge. Everything that is needed, to the data that is needed, the data that is received and might be sent away to the cloud, or the data that has to be pulled. Say you're running this vehicle and you want to pull weather data. and that might be a different feed. So integrating all that and running is the edge OS. So when we say edge AI, we are not talking simply about the AI. People tend to think that's the AI. It's already built somewhere else. All the intelligence is elsewhere. In fact, it's in the cloud and process is what people typically think. But it's the AI that is running. The AI is going to receive all the sensor data and everything, and it is going to process, or it might make the OS layer, the edge OS layer might go and pull things from the cloud or pull extra data sources to make a decision. And in fact, so that when it is small and it is low resource and it does not need all this extra stuff, it can be embedded in, that becomes the embedded AI. Otherwise, typical edge AI is going to do a little bit of, let me pull from other sources and let me send this to the cloud and decide which goes to the cloud, which I'm pulling from the cloud. And that is that intelligence is happening in the edge OS layer of edge AI. And thank you for that question. I'm going to do a like for it. I love the question. Thank you. I'm just going to see if I miss anybody else's question up here. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate that. Okay. Jasmeet is also saying, Jasmeet is the fun uncle of physical AI. So I'm going to put a like on Jasmeet's comment so you can go follow Jasmeet. So Jasmeet is saying the training can happen on the cloud while the inference and real-time adapting can happen on the edge. Yes. So that's the short answer. So, or the way I understood that, Jasmeet, is not just that all the processing is happening on the cloud. What if we need extra data that needs to be pulled from some other source? So that brings us to the whole embodied AI, where you run agents on the edge. So you're doing a little bit of context engineering, where you say, I need more data source. Where is this data sitting? So the training of the AI. Your point is the training of the AI happens on the cloud. The inference runs on the edge. Beautiful. That is true. And then adapting to the actual data is happening on the edge. So the device, based on what the device is, whether it's an autonomous vehicle or a surgical robot or something else, it is doing it is acting its actuators and doing what it's supposed to do on the edge. So beautiful discussion. Thank you so much. I love that. I love a beautiful discussion. Okay. Let me make sure that I'm not missing out any other comment from anyone, because I want to show something mind-blowing. Because I was telling you, I'm going to be working on research on adding an agent on the edge, right? So one of the things I have is to test that out. Let me see whether I have it here. Yes, I do. Okay, so let me share. So I don't know if Yogesh Chavan is here, but Yogesh Chavan is the one who gets credit for what I'm going to show you now. And I will try and see if Yogesh can join us another time. Maybe at Weekly Wed on December 3rd, I've invited Yogesh to come show us a demo of the simulation that I'm going to show you in a minute. So what I'm talking about is a simulation of an edge autonomous mobility robot. And here we've taken a simple use case saying the robot is going to run an agent, and it is going to get sensor data, and then it is going to decide, just like the Waymo was stuck, right? All the other devices which are moving, all the AMRs are looking at their environment data and they're designing, should I move, should I not move, right? So Yogesh has just taken that simple use case to say, hey, I get that information from the sensors, and then the agent is going to decide, is it safe to move or not? So this is a simulation of that edge device environment for an AMR. And this configuration is done using Google Gemini. I can't show you because then I have to put the API key here. So I'm going to scroll that and then show you, okay? So let me stop the share, put the, okay. Okay, mask that, so it should be okay. And so then I'm going to run this. So now the simulation happens. So there is, it's pretending to get sensor data. Let me run that, right? It's getting sensor data. Then it is pre-processing and doing sensor fusion. Then it does some context engineering. Then the agent is reasoning and saying, analyzing the sensor data using Gemini. And then it's making a decision and saying, hey, everything looks normal. You can continue on the current trajectory, right? And here they also built a fallback logic. If for some reason the data from the sensor doesn't come through or something happens, then it is going to go back to a logic mode. So there's what I was telling you, you have to have a fail-safe logic. Here, what they've done is to create a fail-safe logic. If the LLM fails us, we will go back to fail-safe logic. So this is the simulation of an AMR that is running an agent, and we are using Gemini, and we just emulating a sensor data. And thank you, Yogesh, for this one. Okay, so I don't know how many of you got excited about this, but I am super excited. And just so you know, when you run such things, you have to pause it and reset it, and otherwise it will run endlessly, and it will cost us a lot of token cost. So that's what this is. So is anybody here first of all, I wanted to thank you for joining me today. And if anybody wants to follow up and have an expert conversation, join Weekly Wed on December 3rd. And ALM, we can also add the Weekly Wed sign up link here. I showed them how to go to the businessschoolofai.com and go to Weekly Wed and sign up. But that would be a small, it won't be live streamed. It'll be a Zoom room where we will have a fun discussion with Karsten Koneshten and learn about Edge AI, how it's being deployed using computer vision on a mobile device. And so that'll be a fun discussion December 3rd. That'll be our next activity. And then I'll be back for Sudha Live, middle of the month. That will be December 17th. But if you get the weekly wed list or you just follow Business School of AI here on LinkedIn, you will get all the follow-ups from here. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Unless somebody has any burning question, I'm just going to close in 30 seconds. Thank you everyone for joining me. I appreciate the fun discussion. We spoke about Edge AI. What is your favorite edge device? What is AI on the edge? We spoke about Edge AI and having multiple layers, running inference, and the Edge OS. We spoke a lot about Edge OS. Thank you for all of you who have come from working in this field, sharing about the physical AI, about the various use cases and logistics and delivery. I appreciate that. And then we saw the Waymo running functionally, which was sticking to the lane detection. And then we saw when it stopped. That is a question I'm going to leave you with on how are you going to make your AI communicate to you when something goes wrong, when it fails, because AI will fail, it's stochastic. And so especially when you work with devices and autonomous vehicles and autonomous mobility vehicles or AMRs, it is important to bake in fail-safe options. And I showed you a simulation of an agent running on AMR using Gemini, and we had a fail-safe to go back to some logic in there. So thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. Wonderful session. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And you all your conversations and questions and comments, and you bring your expertise. That's what I love. And when I talk to my students, because you're working in the field and you're bringing your real experience. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone. And if you tag your friend or if you come back and think of a question, I'll come and check it for another day or two. It'll send me notifications on this. And oh, I forgot, you should also follow my newsletter because I don't usually have time to share latest jobs in here. But with the newsletter, LM, can we find the newsletter link also in here, please? We should be able to get yes, I'm going to share that screen for that. Thank you, guys. Let me just share the newsletter link and then I'm going to wrap up. Here is the Jamthe newsletter. It's called the Limitless newsletter. And in here, you will be able to see the link for Sudha Live and our upcoming weekly wed. So even if you follow the Jamthe newsletter, you'll be in touch with me and everything. So at the bottom, you can see a list of jobs and other opportunities. And I handcraft and pick 2 or 3 learning materials, like, not just courses, like good thought-provoking reading materials for you. So this is what I have. Especially I had written in 2015 about breaking human machine barrier. This is the same topic we are talking about, human computer interface, how to design for it, how to collaborate and get along with the machine and get ready for a world like that. This was like 10 years back. Even the AI was very dated at that time. So I haven't linked all that. So join the Limitless newsletter, and that is another option by which you can get access to everything. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe, and I will see you at Weekly Wed on December 3rd, or I will see you back at Sudha Live, or I will see you online because LM is going to come back at Business School of AI and give us more videos and clips and keep us engaged. So thank you so much. I will see you soon. Bye.